this press conference by statements of the two ministers. First, you'll hear the statements of the ministers. Then you will have an opportunity to ask a few questions. Minister, the floor is yours.
Minister Gideon Sar, Minister of Israel, to Vilnius, to Lithuania. Dear Gideon, welcome. As you know, our city used to be called, and now is called the Northern Jerusalem, and because of the many cultural relations and of the common history that we have, because of such big contribution and involvement of Jewish people to history of Lithuania, to the state building of Lithuania, as well as the state building of Israel. And this is very much connecting us bond on which we have the obligation as the current ministers to build for our future better relations, better for our cultural, academic, scientific and business exchanges, because we have all the reasons to do it. Even the light is going up and down. And then I shift to Lithuanian a bit, and norėčiau pasidalinti.
I would like to share the details of our meeting with the Israeli foreign minister and the topics that we have discussed today. It is obviously the topics that were evolving around the situation in the Middle East region, the military tension and escalation between Israel and Iran has brought a great instability both to the region and to the world, and we understand that Iran has posed and continues to pose existential threats to Israel. Iran's nuclear program is a threat to the entire world, and we have all the reasons and we have to put all the efforts to stop this program and to make the world safer and more stable. We cannot allow anyone to threaten the democratic state which is friendly to us, the Israel's right to exist and to live in security. This is why the current situation, Lithuania is actively supporting the joint efforts to put pressure on Iran and use other measures to make Iran agree with the requirements of the international community to cease and refuse the nuclear program completely, to allow international inspectors to check their nuclear sites. And that is not the only challenge, security challenge, which Iran poses to the world. They also have the ballistic missiles program, and we see the results. When Israel suffered Iran's attacks, and Israeli defense systems were worked very well, and if not those systems, then probably Israel could have suffered stronger losses. So we see various organizations which really threaten the security of those who want to live in peace. This is why we have to use the situation to work for our joint security efforts. And in this area, we have the same security Israel's together with Israel and the same interest as the entire democratic world has. With the minister, we have discussed today about the attempts to retrieve hostages, Israeli hostages who have been captured during the Hamas attack in October last year. And we see from the delegation members, they are wearing those yellow ribbons which show these tragic events, and then the hostages have not been returned. That has to be done unconditionally, and that is the way to a ceasefire, which everyone is looking for, so that we can achieve stability as soon as possible. And conditions are provided to implement other requests, such as ensure security in Israel and entire region. With the minister, we also discussed the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip, and this topic has been discussed a number of times with the minister during our phone conversations. I really appreciate this possibility to exchange our views and assessments of this situation, and I truly appreciate the efforts done by the minister in order to improve the situation in the region. We understand that not everything happens as smoothly as we would like, especially when the military operation is ongoing in the Gaza Strip. But the minister has reassured me that the Israeli state is putting all efforts to improve these conditions. The Lithuania's interest is to have this improvement sooner. There are also other topics that we have touched upon, but we will discuss it in greater details during our meeting with delegations. That is our mutual trade, bilateral trade, and it is really growing, and we see a great potential to expand our cooperation in a high technology area, to cooperate more. We have wonderful examples such as Israeli investments brings great benefits to both countries. We have many success stories. We have a number of startups operating in Lithuania. So we have to improve the conditions for Israeli investors and to continue building our mutual relations in the future. We have also touched upon the Holocaust in Lithuania, which is a very important part of Lithuanian history, of historic memory of Lithuania, and that is also an important part of Israeli history. So we have shared our views with the minister on the relation to this tragedy, and together we will visit the Panerai Memorial later today. And it is not the Holocaust is not something that happened a long time in the past. It is also a living history, because learning the lessons of the history, we have to do all the homework, and we haven't completed our homework, and probably we will never complete our homework until anti-Semitism is widespread.
Today.
For the warm hospitality. I want to thank your open and direct approach. The dialogue between us is good, important, and effective. It is a privilege to be here in Vilnius. Our nations share deep historical ties. Jewish community of Vilnius was once a major center of Jewish life and learning in Europe. And my wife's family also came from Vilnius, so I can assure you, Minister, it's my first visit, but not the last. Israel sees Lithuania as an important partner in Europe. And I believe that Israel is a strategic partner for Europe and for Lithuania. Israel is an asset for Europe and the Western world in the Middle East. Israel's Operation Rising Lion against the head of the snake in Iran, and its many actions since the October 7th massacre contribute directly and significantly to the security of Europe. Our operation was a huge success. Iran's nuclear program was the greatest threat to regional stability, and also a great threat for Europe and world order. A nuclear Iran certainly would have caused a nuclear arms race in the Middle East, as much as a threat of leaking this kind of dangerous weapon to terrorist organizations. Israel's actions, along with the US, sent the Iranian regime's nuclear ambitions many years back. Iran's ballistic missiles that Israel severely damaged were able to reach Europe too. Our strikes damaged Iran's supplies of drones, the very same technology being used by Russia with an Iranian help during its war against Ukraine. We were very successful with intercepting 1,000 of them. Israel's war on 7 fronts since Hamas' October 7th massacre is not just Israel's war. Of course, it is a war for our survival, but it is a broader struggle between the free world and the radical axis of terror led by Iran and its proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis of Yemen, the Shiite militias in Iraq, Palestinian terror gangs in Judea and Samaria. And the axis is supported by the authoritarian axis, China, Russia, and North Korea. Israel did not seek this war. Hamas started it and is responsible also for its continuation in Gaza. We are serious, as I told the minister, in our will to reach a hostage deal and a ceasefire. We said yes to Special Envoy Steve Witkoff's proposals. Unfortunately, until now, Hamas hadn't. This war can end any day if Hamas releases our hostages and lays down its arms. Minister, this battle is between civilization and barbarism. Europe must not be confused. Israel is a strategic partner. There is no other partner that shared the same values and challenges in our region. Our action contributes directly to European security, while those in the international community talk the talk, Israel was the only one to act, to remove the threat, to do the dirty work for all of us, as the German Chancellor said. The capabilities that Israel destroyed in Iran did not only threaten Israel, they threatened Europe and the wider Western world. Israel has much to contribute to Lithuania, and we want to cooperate, trade, economy, high-tech, but also in security from our experience, technology, and equipment. Dear Minister, as I stand here in Vilnius, I recall the special Jewish heritage of this land. I also recall the dark chapter that led to its destruction during the Holocaust. As a nation, we will always carry this pain with us. But I also see hope in our partnership. We appreciate Lithuanians' commitment to fight anti-Semitism. We discussed it. We are grateful to Lithuania for standing with Israel in our most difficult hour. And we will still need to continue standing firmly by us on the international stage. Let us further strengthen the bonds between our nations for the sake of a better and safer and prosper future for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Now we have a few questions. Bloomberg.
Hello, Mr. Saar. My name is Milda Shaputit. I'm a reporter with Bloomberg News. I have a question on Syria. Are Israel and Syria discussing a possible peace agreement, or is this more non-belligerence, more limited non-belligerence agreement with Syria? And how would it be different from the agreement that Israel had with the Assad regime back in 1974? Thank you.
We would like to have all our neighbors, all the countries around us, in the camp of normalization and peace in the region with Israel. That includes Syria as much as it includes Saudi, as much as it includes Lebanon, and it is too early to prejudge what will happen in the future, but we have certain security needs, we have certain demands naturally, but basically I think all the nations in this region have a lot to earn from normalization and good relations between us and them. I can say that those countries who normalize connections with us, like the UAE, we have great trade relations, growing even during this war. We have partnerships and good dialogue between us. So I hope that will be the case with all our neighbors.
News.
Polish Baltic News Service news agency, with waning European support because of the Israel's actions in Gaza, do you feel that Lithuania's actions in the international arena is sufficient, and in which areas could it be more marginal?
Well, I'm not to judge. We consider Lithuania to be our friend. We have very friendly relations. We talked often, and my colleague reflects honestly friendship and sometimes worries, and it is okay. I think that from our perspective, Lithuania is one of the countries that understands the importance of the relations between Israel and the EU as a whole. As it was said by the minister also raises the issue of humanitarian situation in Gaza Strip during our conversations, and I can say that today, while we are standing here, there is a dialogue begins in Jerusalem between the EU delegation and Israel, with an effort to not only to exchange views, but maybe to see how we can work together to improve situation. And I believe that this approach is one of the reasons is my colleagues' approach to engage through a dialogue. It is always the best thing to do things, and we are totally open, since our aim is to defeat Hamas. We don't want Hamas to use the humanitarian aid as an economic asset to empower its war machine, but we want it directly to go to the people of Gaza. And since we share the same goals, we might find maybe new ways how to do it.
Elta?
Ustė Paulauskaitė, news agency Elta. So, as you mentioned, you have talked about the humanitarian situation in Gaza. So, did you receive any criticism from Minister Budrys about it, especially having in mind that even today in Vilnius, where people were protesting against this and against Lithuanian-Israeli relations?
You know that in bilateral relations between countries, when you go out from a meeting, you can say what you said, but not what the other side said. It is his privilege, but we discussed the issue naturally, and as I said, it also was raised by the minister in our phone conversations, and afterwards we engaged, I engaged with EU High Rep Kaja Kallas to begin this dialogue that we will begin today in Jerusalem between the EU and Israel on the matter.
If I can add, also answering your question in Lithuanian, mes kalbame.
We are talking about the situation and about the reports from the Gaza Strip, and we are all following this information, and we see that information openly, and I totally agree with what the minister said. This is how it should be. True friendly relations, this is how they should be built. In case any questions arise, in case we have any doubts even in the international arena, or when there is a need for engagement, through the actions of European Union, we address those questions directly, and we talk about that openly. So today we have a clear understanding and a common understanding that there is a need to improve the situation of humanitarian aid, and to improve the figures that we see now regarding the humanitarian aid. And the distribution of humanitarian aid should be broader, understanding what big challenges lie there in the presence of military actions. So yes, this question, when it is raised, and there I would like to highlight something, when this question is raised together with our colleagues in the EU Council of Foreign Ministers, and one thing that Lithuania has been repeating and will continue to repeat, that the EU really appreciates relations with Israel, and it really values these relations, and we have to take a look at all the possibilities we have to explore all the possibilities to build and enrich our relations with Israel. First of all, we have to talk and discuss various ways of supplying this humanitarian aid. And this is what we are doing now, and this is what it should be, not by the measures that we impose against countries where we don't share any civilized relations or any civilized way to exchange our views. So I think that we will continue moving in this direction. We will continue discussing, and what I see from the minister, this allows me to believe and to hope that the situation will improve. Thank you, Minister. And the last question from the Lithuanian side. Šarūnas Dvareckas, TV3 News. The question is from the latest news from Poland. What has been said about strengthening border controls between Lithuania and Poland? Previously, it has been said that this comes from the German side. Have you heard anything from the border guards side? Have you spoken to the special officials of Poland? Yes, yesterday I received the news from Radzislav Sikorski, Foreign Minister of Poland, and I heard he said that the Polish government is about to adopt a decision on introducing stronger controls on the border between Lithuania and Poland, and on the border of Lithuania and Germany, taking into account of the situation of illegal migration and the rising number of illegal migrants that are reported on both borders. So yes, I know that our ministers of interior are discussing this topic on bilateral level between Lithuania and Poland, and yes, we have to take into account the realistic figures, and we have to see the dynamics of how many illegal migrants were captured, on our border, and we have to apply the most effective measures by implementing the measures that are not really infringing the freedom of movement and helping us to firmly protect external EU and NATO borders. And we will talk to other countries of the region about these matters. I know there is exchange with the Latvian minister in order to harmonize these measures. Thank you very much.
Ministers.